Happy New Year, everybody. For those of y'all who've been around for a while, you might be familiar with the 2022 holiday Name the Fly series we did. It was just a silly, fun thing to do where I came up with a pattern based on some color scheme for a particular holiday, like Valentine's Day or the 4th of July, or this crazy thing that we did New Year's Day last year. And the contest part of it was, I asked y'all to submit names in the comments of what you think we should call it. And this part was pretty subjective. My kids and I picked our favorite top 4 or 5 names and we put them out there for a vote. Then I'd send the winner a little something, maybe a Savage Flies hat or a gift card for an online fly shop. And the series was fun enough that I want to do it again this year, but I'm thinking we probably shouldn't do streamers again. So what should we do? Well, I thought about nymphs, but they're generally too small to get a whole lot of crazy colors in. Wet flies, yeah, maybe. Dry flies, yeah, also a maybe. But then I had an idea. Panfish bugs, or bass and panfish bugs. You can get all kinds of crazy color schemes tying these things. So that's what we're going to do for the 2023 Name the Fly series. In this first one, the New Year's Day fly. Well, I didn't really make this one up. I saw one very similar to this on a website called Flies and Guides, but they just called it a chartreuse spider. And I think we can come up with a cooler name than that. So if you want to play, leave a comment with a name what you think we should call this fly. In a few days, my kids and I will pick the top 4 or 5, and like always, we'll put it up for a vote. And for this one, I'll send the winner a $25 gift card to Jay Stockard. So that's it. Happy New Year, everybody. I can't wait to hear some of the names y'all come up with. So there it is in the vise, our as yet to be named 2023 holiday topwater bass and panfish bug. Pretty simple pattern, but I'm really kind of digging this. And I'm going to tie it on a size 10. This is a 3X long generic curved shank hook. It's a J Stockard model 430. And I've used this one plenty of times. It's one of my favorite hopper terrestrial hooks. And for the thread, I'm going to use a yellow because that's the color of body I'm going to use. You could certainly use black. I don't really think this shows too much. Now, I did get a question recently about snipping or breaking the thread. And here's, if you want to do this, it might save you 3 or 4 seconds. What you have to do is leave a little bit extra on the tag end so you can wrap a finger around it, but you'll want to pull your thread down tight right here with your bobbin holder, pinch it tight, and then you can just yank it up like that. If you don't pinch it tight, you're just probably going to bunch all that thread up, and if you don't have it long enough to grab, it's just going to slip out of your fingers. So do that if you want. And it's easy to do with 70 denier thread, not so easy with 140. Now for the tail, I'm going to use some thin crystal flash. This is 1 strand. I'm going to fold it over on itself twice. Okay, that is folded twice, and I'm going to catch it in right in the middle. And now I can pull this back, and I've effectively got 8 strands for my tail. Now the body I've been using for this thing, it's a 3mm foam. I think it'd be fine with 2mm. Cut, a good bit wider than the hook gap. But I did cut a little notch in it. We'll just make it a little bit easier to catch in and without creating so much bulk. So I'm going to pinch this around the hook, and then it's going to take several wraps, but go ahead and put several wraps here. Try to keep it on top. You don't really want it to spin around. Take a look to see if you've got it, far back enough. I think in this case we have. And I'm going to catch in some hackle just to give it a little bit more bugginess. And I'm going to use a yellow. This is actually a grizzly dyed yellow because it's a pretty cool feather and I really don't use it very much. But I think you could pretty much use anything for this. And I'm going to put some ice dub for the body. So let's put a little wax on our thread here. And I'm not putting this thick. Really, it's just going to give it a little bit of flash. You are going to need a pretty long noodle, so get at least 4 inches or so, or maybe you're going to have to do a couple of applications here. Okay, that's far enough forward. Let's go ahead and palmer this hackle all the way up to our thread. Now I'm just going to fold this over right there where my thread is. pinch it around, keep it on top of the hook, but let's pinch it. And then, you know, medium tight wraps. You can't go real tight or you'll break your thread unless you're using a 140, but several wraps here. Take a look at it. Got that big beetle looking carapace. I think that's exactly what I want there. Now I'm going to catch in some legs. This is green silly legs with a little bit of glitter on it, so I'm going to catch them in pretty much right in the middle, and they're going to flare directly out, and I'll show you what we can do to take care of that if you want to. You might want that look right there. Do it on both sides here. Okay, now if you have them sticking straight out and you don't want that, maybe you want one going forward and one back, what you can do is drag them around under the body of it, and it will help if you're under the edge of that foam. See that right there? Now they're kind of going forward, but I don't necessarily want that. I want them sticking kind of out, so I'm going to leave them up here right up on the side of this foam. But one other thing we can do is put a little bit more dubbing on and then wrap it between those legs, and it'll help push them out a little bit. So I've got some more dubbing on here, and I'm just going to wrap it up between all of these legs right here, and it will, you know, serve to kind of push them out a little bit, keep them going, you know, not directly out. See that? So that worked a little bit, and I think we're going to be fine right there. So next up, I'm going to just take my thread up and put a little bit more dubbing on. And this is because I want this front piece kind of propped up. So I'm going to just try to wrap this, grab everything if I can, and then just wrap this right up under that foam and, you know, try to help prop it up just a little bit. Just be careful you don't clog your eye there. Now let's whip finish it. You might have to do a little zigzag in here because you don't want to trap these legs. Now let's trim this front piece. I don't want it too short, because, but you don't want it too long either. It'll be hard to cast. But you want it just long enough so that when you have this thing sitting on top of the water and then you twitch it, you want to cause a lot of disturbance. You want to move it through the water, and you want to move some water as you're twitching it around. So that's it, everybody. Pretty fun pattern, very easy to tie, but you know the panfish are going to love something like this. So I appreciate you watching. Can't wait to hear what names you guys come up with. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.